program is rated MALSV. It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Finally, show with the balls to call it like it is. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Countdown to audio torture.
The Rated R Safety Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Let the eardrum pain begin.
Forget the corporate bullshit. This is the Rated R Safety Show with your host, Dr. It doesn't matter who the host is.
Oh, you know it. It does not matter who the host is, because it really never has mattered in that particular fashion. So let's just be real when it comes to it. Anyways, today's Wednesday, October the 6th of 2021, day 279th of the year. And only, you ready for this? 86 days to go. 86 days to go. How can that be? How can that be already? Only 86 days. Think about it. Before we get too far into this, it will already be the end of the year. It will be Christmas. It will be Thanksgiving and all that fun stuff. And the countdown is already going. And then we get to do the 2020 thing. Anyways, we are broadcasting live from the Safety FM studios in Orlando, Florida. Yes, that's where we're located. And we're broadcasting here, but we're streaming across the multiverse known as Safety FM. And then, of course, we are hanging out with our friends and buddies over there.
Radio.
So I have to tell you, some changes coming our direction, but we'll talk about that. What is today? Wednesday. We'll probably talk a little bit more about that here. Let me see. When can I talk about this? Can I talk about it tomorrow? Yeah, we'll talk about it maybe tomorrow. Yeah, we'll talk about it maybe tomorrow. And then we'll go over some of the conversation pieces of the things that are going on and all that kind of fun stuff, because that's always exciting. So, yeah, I wasn't here yesterday, so sorry about that. Had a little tie-up that I had to do. It was the beginning of the month thing, something I normally have to do at the very beginning of the month. No, I don't have to go see my parole officer. That's not what I was saying. But we ended up having to do this thing that we've been doing, but then I kind of hadn't gone to it for a period of time, and then based off of yesterday, it'll probably be another period of time before I go back. But that's perfectly fine. That's a whole other story. We can talk about that at some other time. So if you're wanting to interact inside of the box, I will try to take a look as often as I can. The easiest way right now, yes, listen to my wording right now, is contacting us via 866-930-SFM1. That's 866-930-SFM1. And that will put you into the chat box. We'll take a listen to what you have going on. If you if you do it like a message or anything along those lines and all that kind of fun stuff, that will get you directly into the studio. But we'll talk about more of that here in the very, very, very near future. Anyway, so let's talk about what's going on in the fiction and nonfiction categories currently on the New York Times bestsellers list. So I will give you from 5 to 1, 1 to 5, and all that kind of fun stuff. So in the fiction category at number 5, Harlem Shuffle. Also at number 4, Vince Flynn, Enemy at the Gates. At number 3 in the fiction category, Daughter of the Morning Star. At number 2, The Jailhouse Lawyer. No, that wasn't me. But it was written by James Patterson and Nancy Allen. No relation, just in case. And at the number 1 spot, Apples Never Fail. Apples Never Fail. For some reason, I'm under the opinion that one's called Apples Never Fall, but somebody wrote fail here. Double check that, because I want to say that it's Apples Never Fall. So there you go. Let's talk about the nonfiction category. At number 5, The Body Keeps the Score. Somebody told me that book wasn't actually what most might think that it is. I'm not sure what that means. What most might not think what it is. What most might not think what it is. Yeah, very confusing. At number 4, Yours Cruelly, Elvira. Yeah. So at number 3, American Marxism. At number 2, Vanderbilt. And then at the number 1 spot was Peril. So there you go. Some nice little tie-ins going on right there. So anything exciting and good going on in your neck? Not really in your neck, but in your neck of the woods. You know, we're always constantly trying to figure out what is happening when nothing is happening, because if nothing's happening, what is happening? So also, before I forget, on Monday, I got to hang out with Terry Graham, or Terry Gray, not Terry Graham. Terry Graham's a guy I used to work for. I get that mixed up all the time. Terry Gray and his Faith in Safety event that he had on Monday night. Pretty interesting stuff on some of the tie-ins that he did. Don't know if you were able to take a look or a gander at that. Had a group of people show up to take a view of that. Terry Gray, known from the Safety Man movement. So if you didn't get to take a view of that, probably be on the lookout for his next event when it comes to that. So interesting times for sure when it comes to it. But anyways, let me not linger too long at the very beginning of this thing, and let me get you moving and grooving inside of what's going on inside of the news. So I'm going to bring our friends from Feature Story News over and let them start, doing what they do.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
From Feature Story News in London, I'm Ollie Barrett. Top US and Chinese officials are meeting in Zurich. They're seeking to ease recent tensions over trade, Taiwan and COVID-19, among other issues. Russia's reported 929 COVID deaths in the last day, the highest single-day figure since the start of the pandemic. Infections are also on the rise amid a slowdown in the country's vaccination program. Julia Chapman reports from Moscow.
Russia's COVID task force reported a significant jump in deaths related to the virus on Wednesday. The daily death figure has been creating fresh records almost daily for the past week. Less than 40% of Russian adults are vaccinated against the virus, and the rate of inoculations has slowed substantially since the summer. Prime Minister Mikhail Mishustin says the government is seriously concerned about the situation, but restrictions are being left to regional leaders and very few have any in place. Julia Chapman, Moscow.
COVID-19 booster shots could be made available to some Australians by the end of the year. The vaccines which have already been purchased would be offered to the immunocompromised first. Sean Bindley reports.
More than 80% of Australia's adult population aged over 16 has received at least one dose of a COVID vaccine nationwide. But in states like Western Australia and Queensland, just 67% have received the single injection. COVID Commander Lieutenant General John Fruin says a timeline for the booster shots is still being worked on.
We may see it towards the end of the year, but otherwise it'll certainly be in the new year, and the vaccines have been purchased for that. So it will come, and hopefully will seamlessly roll from the actual vaccination program into a business as usual flu shot type booster program.
In Brisbane, I'm Sean Bindley.
Official coalition discussions are expected to start in Germany as politicians in Europe's biggest economy work to form a new government after recent elections. The leaders of two smaller parties say they're ready to discuss forming a new government with the bigger centre-left SPD. Trent Murray reports from Berlin.
They've been described as the kingmakers, and for Germany's Green Party and pro-business FDP party, the decision to officially enter talks with the centre-left SPD puts Germany on course for a left-led coalition government. It comes just 10 days after national elections saw the SPD come out on top with over 25% of the vote. But to reach a majority, it will need the support of the two smaller parties. The confirmation that official talks will now begin to form a coalition with all three of the parties will be disappointing to Angela Merkel's conservative successor Armin Laschet, who led his party to a historic low result. He had hoped to be able to convince the Greens and FDP to join him instead. Trent Murray, Berlin.
From bureaus worldwide, this is FSN.
With FSN Spotlight, I'm Simon Marks, looking today at Expo 2020, the delayed global exposition which has just opened in Dubai. Postponed because of COVID-19, it showcases individual country pavilions that demonstrate the latest inventions with a focus on cutting-edge architecture, green technology, and the organisers say a vibrant glimpse of our interconnected tomorrows. The Israeli pavilion opens today, a fresh demonstration of the new relationship between the country and the UAE, but Expo 2020 attracted a fair amount of criticism as well, according to analyst Bob McMahon with the New York-based Council on Foreign Relations.
Foreign workers have built this World's Fair. The treatment of foreign workers is a source of huge controversy in human rights circles. You also have sort of broader concerns about the UAE and its crackdown on dissidents and others who speak out on rights issues. The European Parliament actually just this month urged nations not to take part in the Expo Expo. I guess you would say it's an event that is it's supposed to have a big world footprint, supposed to put countries on the map and also be an innovative showcase, but also tend to attract criticisms and sort of political statements, not unlike the Olympics that we've seen recently.
Should you be in Dubai, Expo 2020 will remain open for the next 6 months. It's cost an estimated $7 billion to mount, and the UAE is hoping that 25 million visitors will explore its pavilions and halls. With FSN Spotlight, I'm Simon Marks.
To recap the top stories, top US and Chinese officials are meeting in Zurich, with the countries addressing tensions over trade to Taiwan. Russia's reported the highest single-day figure of COVID deaths since the start of the pandemic. Coalition discussions are expected to begin in Germany as politicians work to form a new government after elections, and COVID-19 booster shots could be made available to some Australians by the end of the year. That's the latest feature story news. Ollie Barrett reporting.
This show is almost as enjoyable as hearing the sound of the toilet flush. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Keyboard Cat, Hamilton the Pug, and Toast Meets World. These are some of the internet's most beloved pets. And they all have one thing in common. Their stories started in a shelter. Start your story. Adopt a dog or cat today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org to find a pet near you. Training that pet to play the keyboard, that's optional. Start a story. Adopt a shelter or rescue pet today. Brought to you by Maddie's Fund, the Humane Society of the United States, and the Ad Council.
Okay, what are you wearing right now?
Nothing.
That's right. So mommy's going to teach you how to dress yourself. Underwear always comes first, name tag at the back, then pants, then shirt. Get the first button in the right hole or you have to start all over. Socks going first, then shoes, right on right, left on left. With shoelaces, just take the ends, cross them over, switch the loops, the rabbit goes down the hole, pull tight, and you're left with bunny ears. Got it? Why are your pants on your head?
Most parenting is hard to do in just 2 minutes. But 2 minutes twice a day making sure they brush their teeth is easier, and it could help save them from a lifetime of tooth pain. Visit 2min2x.org to find out more. A message from the Partnership for Healthy Mouths, Healthy Lives, and the Ad Council.
How's it going? I'm having a stroke. Are you going to shake my hand? I'm having a stroke. Wow, you're not even moving your arm. I'm having a stroke.
When someone is having a stroke, they may not be able to say it with words, but their body language will tell you loud and clear. Look for FAST. F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. S, speech difficulty. T, time to call 911 immediately. Know the sudden signs. Spot a stroke fast. Visit strokeassociation.org. Brought to you by the American Stroke Association and the Ad Council.
The storks are bringing me a baby brother. We can do this together.
All right, let's go.
Storks know how to keep kids safe. Do you?
What?
Oh my gosh, you don't know.
I know.
You don't. Oh man, you laugh when you're uncomfortable.
No.
Making sure your child is in the right car seat is one of the steps to safer travel.
I will rock this.
You will rock this.
To know for sure that your child is in the right car seat for their age and size, visit safercar.gov/the right seat.
Cool. Very cool.
Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
There is a lot of misconceptions when it comes to the world of virtual private networks or VPNs. Let me tell you real quick about my favorite VPN service, NordVPN. I hear people say all the time that VPNs have the reputation of slowing down your internet speed, but not with NordVPN. It's because they are the fastest VPN in the world. I don't have to sacrifice internet speed for better security. With NordVPN, my traffic is routed through a secure encrypted tunnel, which protects my data and privacy. I can also have NordVPN on to up to 6 devices, so all my devices are protected. I will tell you, I have used NordVPN throughout all of North America and have never ran into an issue with the service. And now, for an exclusive offer for you, get up to 73% off of a 2-year plan plus 4 months for free. Yeah, you heard me right there. 4 months for free. All you have to do to get this offer is go to nordvpn.com/safetyfm. That's nordvpn.com/safetyfm, or use code safetyfm at checkout. There is a 30-day money-back guarantee if NordVPN is not for you, so there's no risk whatsoever. It's the equivalent to buying a cup of coffee every month, a small price to pay for premium cybersecurity and access to vast amounts of entertainment. So go right now to nordvpn.com/safetyfm. That's nordvpn.com/safetyfm to get this special offer or use the code safetyfm at checkout. Remember, 73% off for a 2-year plan plus 4 months for free.
Listen at your own risk. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, there you go. 16 minutes past the top of the hour as you and I are hanging out on this lovely Wednesday, or hump day, however you want to take a look at it. Anyways, let's give you some news on what is going on inside of the world. Facebook whistleblower Frances Haugen told members of Congress yesterday that the company knows its platform spreads misinformation and content that harms children. But simply does not care. The former Facebook data scientist told lawmakers that the new regulations are needed to force the platform to right its wrongs, but stop short of calling it dismantling of the company. Here are some of the keys of the highlights of what they had to say. The platform exploits negative emotions to keep people hooked. Facebook released a statement saying that Haugen did not work on child safety or Instagram or research these issues. Therefore, there is no direct knowledge of the topic. Reducing the spread of misinformation and other harmful content wouldn't require much effort. Facebook corporate environment is machine-like that forces only on growth and profit, ignoring what harms people. Tech companies have to have funds to keep influential people in their back pockets, allowing the blocking of need this particular reform. So, I mean, it's kind of hypocritical in talking about this because let's be realistic. Number one, we do stream on Facebook. So that is not a lie. That is something that we do. But also at the same time, too, you start taking a listen to some of this stuff and you start going, okay, so for as much as people hate Facebook, and some people that really like Facebook, I mean, it's just kind of a combination of both, but there's some people that really hate it. But they hang out on the platform anyways. And a lot of the reform that needs to be done, I kind of still go back to my original question that I've asked several years ago. What kind of responsibility does the company have when it's all said and done? It is a platform that is owned. Well, now it's a company that's publicly traded. But also at the same time, when they originally started allowing you to use it, it was a private company. And you are using their terms of service to be on there. I mean, I don't know. It's kind of a catch. It's kind of an interesting mix. Hey, I'm not saying one thing's good, one thing's bad, but you are using a platform that is not really open. That it would just turn around and be like, okay, hey, have a free for all. But it is a free for all to an extent. You know what I'm saying? Because when I say about the whole free for all aspect, think about it in this fashion. The free-for-all that occurs here is they're allowing you to use their platform. Now, keep in mind that you are giving them data points. That is the trade. You are the commodity. Sorry. If somebody's not selling you something, your data is the commodity. You have become the product. I mean, think about it for a moment. Think about what I'm saying. If they are not obtaining some kind of monetary value from you, they are verifying what you're doing. Now, it's kind of weird because that's the thing. You are the product. It is the play on the different things that you can do, the different levels of emotions that it drives, and how it all works. There's enough research, and there's probably enough, how would I say it, mockumentaries or dramas out there. Should I say dramas? We'll call them dramamentaries. Maybe we'll word it that way. Out there that you can actually take a view of these things and really see what are some of the data points that are there on what these social media platforms do. And let's not just limit it to one, because they all have their own algorithm on how they do stuff. So just think about that. And I know a lot of people are not going to be happy about me saying it, but it is the world that we're in. That's just the way that it works.
Oops! What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with the viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Okay, an estimated 330,000 children were victims of sexual abuse within the France's Catholic Church over the past 70 years. According to a new report, that figure includes abuse committed by some 3,000 priests and other within the church. The head of the French Bishops' Conference asked for forgiveness from the victims, on which about 80% were boys, according to their reports. A group of church officials met yesterday to determine what happens next. So, I mean, that is an extremely high number. Think about that. The figure includes abuse committed by some 3,000 priests, but we're talking about an estimated 330,000 children over 70 years. 70 years. 330,000 children. Let that set for a moment as you're thinking about that. I mean, that is a huge number. A huge number.
We at Safety FM are not responsible for what this idiot behind the microphone is saying. He is trying to be entertaining. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, a Nebraska man has been on raw meat-based diet for the last 3 years. Weston Rowe, 39, eats raw protein-rich foods such as beef, liver, chicken, and other animal organs, which he gets locally sourced from a dairy and poultry farms. He says that the diet has helped him raise his energy level and that he isn't concerned about warnings regarding infections such as salmonella. Rowe told the Associated Press that he doesn't often snack. He only eats 2 or 3 meals a day. Fruit is one rare food item that he consumes that isn't meat-based. He also said that his family and friends are supportive of his lifestyle. Man, I would like to hear about his lifestyle. Number one, how much is the meat costing you? Because I would like to know that. And how much is the quantity of meat that you're actually intaking? Like, do you do an ounce per pound that you weigh? And did you lose any weight during the thing? I mean, I don't know. It kind of makes me think about a lot of things here. Well, I don't know. Maybe that's a good tie-in. Maybe this is a good moment for this. Maybe I will do this right now. Let's get that wellness minute thing going real quick. We'll do it right now.
Your Wellness Minute today is brought to you by AlessaMorgan.com. Today we are talking about 2 simple nutritional strategies known to increase your metabolic rate. In other words, how fast your body burns calories in a resting state. Increase the metabolic rate facilitates weight management, improves your energy and how you feel. First, eating protein with every meal. Protein has the highest increase in metabolic rate that occurs after eating food, also known as thermic effect. Its thermic effect is 15 to 30% compared to only 5 to 10% for carbs and 0 to 3% for fats. Second, water. Drinking 17 ounces or 0.5 liters of water increases resting metabolism by 10 to 30% for about an hour. For more nutritional tips and information, please visit AlessaMorgan.com, where we always encourage you to find real ways to reset your wellness.
Hold on. How much water did she say there? Because that threw me off. Did it sound like she said 17.5? I'm kind of confused. This is a great thing about recording tracks. Hold on.
Liters of water increases resting or 0.5 liters of water. Drinking 17 ounces or 0.5 liters of...
Oh, 0.5 liters of water. Is that with every meal? Because that wasn't very specific. I'm kind of curious. Because I thought she said 17.5 liters of water. I'm like, holy monkeys. Talk about the drowning effect. Just thinking about that. But there you go for me not being able to listen. Anyway, so let's continue talking real quick. Johnson & Johnson is seeking emergency approval for its COVID-19 booster shot for people 18 and older. The pharmaceutical giant submitted new data to the FDA showing that the second dose of its vaccine given about 2 months after the first increases effectiveness to about 94%. The FDA scheduled an October 15th meeting, an expert advisory committee to discuss whether to grant the EUA for the booster shot. So, I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm all about, doing preventative measures that might help you out. But hold on. Wasn't like the big selling point that it was just one? Like it was just one shot to give, one shot to live? I mean, I'm just asking, but it just seems that way. Wasn't that the big sell? So then all of a sudden now we're being told that, you might have to get a secondary. So now I'm not too sure. But just some stuff to think about. Anyways, in an effort to create more equity. The New York City public libraries will no longer charge late fees and will waive all existing fees for overdue books and other materials. While the late fees had already been suspended due to the coronavirus, they will now be permanently eliminated. According to officials and leaders of the city 3 library systems, the New Yorkers will still need to pay the replacement fee for those that lose books or other materials. Worth noting, as of yesterday, there are over 400,000 New Yorkers who had been blocked from checking out items that they owe at least $15 in fines or will now be able to do so. So there you go. For those oldies out there, it's almost like looking at it like Blockbuster telling you that they were waiving away any late fees for a movie that you had. So there you go. Anyways, a Missouri man was put to death on Tuesday for killing three people at a convenience store during a robbery nearly 3 decades ago. Ernest Johnson died from lethal injection at the state prison on Bon Terre yesterday evening. It wasn't yesterday evening. Yes, it was yesterday evening. I'm so confused on my days now. Ahead of his death, objections came from racial justice activists, lawmakers, and even the Pope. Johnson's execution is the 7th in the U.S. this year. 3 were in Texas and 3 involved federal prisoners. So there you go. That was happening last night. Not sure how we reported on that one, but we just did. Anyways, what else do we got? Israeli archaeologists stumbled upon a rare ancient toilet in Jerusalem that dates back to more than 2,700 years. According to the Israeli Antiques Authority, the smooth carved limestone toilet was found in a rectangular cabin, was part of a mansion that overlooked what is now the Old City. The find is rare. Only the rich could afford toilets, according to the director of excavation. So there you go. A lime toilet. Well, let me make sure that I phrase that correctly. A limestone toilet, because you definitely don't want a lime toilet. Anyways, it is 28 minutes past the top of the hour. You are still hanging out here on the Rated R Safety Show. A judge refused to dismiss the weapon possession charge against Illinois resident Kyle Rittenhouse, who is accused of shooting 3 people during a protest in Wisconsin last year. Rittenhouse shot and killed Joseph Rosenbaum and Anthony Huber and wounded Gage Griskell. I'm going to butcher the last name, so we'll just leave it. During the protest, prosecutors charged him with multiple counts, including homicide and being a minor in possession of a firearm. Rittenhouse was only 17 at the time of the incident. His trial is set to begin on November the 1st. So be on the lookout for more information, because I'm sure we'll have it during the time. A new report from the U.S. Health Department and Human Services showed that COVID-19 vaccines may have helped prevent more than 250,000 cases and tens of thousands of deaths among seniors. The new study, which was conducted by the researchers at the Health and Human Services Office and the Assistant Secretary for Planning and Evaluation, the ASPE, found the vaccination were linked to the reduction of about 265,000 infections, 170,000 hospitalizations, and 39,000 deaths among 63 million Medicare beneficiaries between January and May 2021. Except every state except Texas and Hawaii were included in the sample. According to the CDC, more than 185 million Americans are now fully vaccinated, and about 55% of the total population. Now, just 55 people from the total population. 55. Take that number. What else do we got? Here? Let's get into Market Beat. Yeah, let's get into Market Beat real quick. Let's get Johnny Smalls in here. Let him talk about what's going on.
Here's your Market Beat Minute for Wednesday, October 6th, 2021. Equities bounced back Tuesday to confirm support in the S&P 500 at the 4,300 level. With support now confirmed for the 3rd time, it looks like the correction is over, but the market is not yet out of the woods. There is a major economic report due out Friday, as well as the peak of the Q3 earnings season still ahead of us. The NFP report could easily spark another rally in the market. market. The risk is that at such lofty valuations, the S&P 500 is still vulnerable to a sell-off. That sell-off could come within the next 4 weeks. The outlook for S&P 500 earnings continues to sour and is a leading driver of price action. If the earnings season puts too big of a dent into the market sentiment, the S&P 500 will likely enter a prolonged period of selling. That may last until there's more clarity in the earnings picture. You can get the inside track from Wall Street's brightest minds delivered directly to your inbox every day at marketbeatminute.com.
Okay, thank you, Johnny Smalls, for that one. Always important getting that information. Markets continued with their recent swings and an upward trend on Tuesday. The Dow lifted 311 points, the Nasdaq rose 178 points, and the S&P gained about 45 points. Increases seen during Tuesday's session were broad and across all sectors. Positive economic data was released indicating that the services sector rose faster than expected in September. Other data announced and confirmed that labor shortages hampered overall economic growth during the same time period. Facebook added more than 2% Tuesday as it rebounded from its 5% loss of Monday because, of system outages, that kind of fun stuff. It happens from time to time. Anyways, let's get back into some more stuff, and this will be our main news story for today. How exciting is that? Let's take a listen.
Here is our main story on the Rated R Safety Show.
So you know that it happens. It happens from time to time. It happens inside of organization. It happens anywhere that you actually take a look around. You have that one person that refuses to change. And now the funny part is that when you take a look at that, it comes to so many different levels. It comes from the level of they refuse to change on maybe the way that they think. They refuse to change to be able to move forward in technology. They refuse to change in regards of doing the things that need to be done inside of the organization. Now, I will tell you, those things do not bother me. But the whole standpoint of where you get to the point where they refuse to change, but then they're holding up everything that's going on inside of the organization, now that bothers me. So here's the gig. I get to interact with all kinds of people, get to see all kinds of things, but sometimes when you get some redundancies, it can become so, you don't even want to talk about it. You don't even want to go through it. But here's the thing. I get to interact with people, and they want to be able to sometimes have that one position inside of an organization where they're kind of the journeyman or the journeywoman, or they are the holder of the key to the door. And here's where it becomes very interesting from time to time. Things can change. They will say that they will change, but because they hold that key to the door, they default back to what they were doing previously. Yes, we will implement these changes because that is what the group wants. This is what we're going to do, blah, blah, blah. But because they have the key, because they've been assigned this key to this door, they will fall back and do exactly what they did previously and pretend like, oh, well, that's what the group wanted or that's how they understood it. And listen, I know that when it comes to certain items, we don't have time for that. We don't have time for people that are trying to hold up the thing because they have their own agenda. And it frustrates me to no end to interact with organizations where people do that shit. It just really does. It's just the most pointless thing on the planet. In between that and people lying about the stuff that they're allegedly trying to change, it's just mind-boggling. It doesn't make a lot of sense. I look at these things that you have some different options on what you can do. Here's what they simply boil down to. If you're not happy and it's a volunteer organization, leave it. Don't do anything with them as long as that person's there. That's pretty simple. If it's inside of an organization that you work for, make sure that you talk about these things inside of meetings on the things that are going on if you don't like them. It's pretty simple. It's a pretty simple process of bringing this up. And the problem is that when you start talking to these people that hold the keys and are trying to force these stagnant movements, because that's really what it boils down to, because they don't want to go into change. If it is a board-appointed position, vote them out. Vote them out, especially if you're seeing a pattern of recognition where you see the lies, where you see these things take place, that they're doing the same thing over and over again from the standpoint to hold everything up because they have their own agenda. Listen, it's easy to kill people with kindness. It is easy to always say yes to everything. Start everything off with yes. Even if you know the answer is no, start off with yes. Maybe the person will adjust. But at some point, you have to actually count your losses. You really do. It just doesn't bring any value to the table or what the organization is trying to do. And it doesn't become where it has to be a you or them thing, but you have to do things for your mental well-being all at the same time. Listen, some people are going to stand there and do whatever their agenda dictates to. And the easiest thing to do is call people out on their shit. Really, I'm going to tell you. I have taken more joy in my life in regards to calling things as they are. Some people don't like it. Some people do. I have no problem saying it. Yes, I am a shy individual when it comes to it from time to time, believe it or not. But I have no problem saying exactly how I feel about something. Maybe you've noticed that over the last few years. But that's the thing. If you don't like something, leave it. If the person doesn't work out and they're a board-appointed position, vote them out. You have the power to do whatever you want because your mental well-being, when it's all said and done, is going to be the most important thing overall. Now, that's a lot to think about. Now, I would normally tell you what do I know, but because I have lived through this so many different times, don't need to tell you that one today. But you know how this goes most of the times.
Oops! What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with the viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Don't go anywhere.
You're listening to the home of real safety talk.
You're listening to Safety FM. We'll be right back.
Hamilton was adopted from a rescue in 2008. He really likes to be around people. I get out my mat and I'm doing a downward dog and he's underneath. He's quite the pug about town. He gets invited to a lot of parties. He knows he's a pretty big deal. Look at this little face. How could you not love him?
Hamilton the Pug, Instagram star, and shelter pet. Amazing adoption stories start in shelters. Visit theshelterpetproject.org to find a pet near you. Brought to you by Maddie's Fund, the Humane Society of the United States, and the Ad Council.
You make sure his toys don't have any sharp edges. You taught her what to do when the smoke alarm goes off. You do so much to keep your child safe. But are you using the right car seat for your child? Car crashes are a leading killer of children ages 1 to 13. Protect your child's future at every stage of life. For information on the right seat for your child, visit safercar.gov/the right seat.
A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
So you see, son, good manners are important. Should I go through it again?
Yes.
Yes, please.
Yes, please.
Exactly. Always say please, thank you, you're welcome, and excuse me. Sit up straight, hold doors open, don't speak with your mouth full, keep your elbows off the table. Share your things, play nice, and generally treat others the way you'd like to be treated. Got it?
Got it.
And stop picking your nose.
Most parenting is hard to do in just 2 minutes. But 2 minutes twice a day making sure they brush their teeth is easier, and it could help save them from a lifetime of tooth pain. Visit 2min2x.org to find out more. A message from the Partnership for Healthy Mouths, Healthy Lives, and the Ad Council.
I'm a retired school psychologist, and helping people was my thing. After my stroke, when Meals on Wheels started, I was on the other end of the stick, so to speak. My name is Julius Gaines, creative writer, poet, photographer.
1 in 6 seniors faces the threat of hunger, and millions more live in isolation. Drop off a hot meal and say a quick hello. Volunteer for Meals on Wheels by donating your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org. This message brought to you by Meals on Wheels America and the Ad Council.
You know how sometimes in life you have those moments of shoulda, coulda, woulda, you know what I'm talking about. It happens all the time to people. So let's talk about that very sensitive subject of male pattern baldness. Don't go through that moment where you're going, I shoulda, coulda, woulda. Let's talk about my friends at Keeps. 2 out of 3 men experience some form of hair loss by the time they are 35. With more than 50 million men in the U.S. suffer from male pattern baldness. You don't have to be one of them. Think about this. There are only 2 FDA-approved medications that can prevent hair loss, and my friends at Keeps offer both. Keeps offers simple, stress-free way for you to keep your hair. Convenient virtual doctor's consultations and medication delivered straight to your door. I mean, I have to tell you, just for the whole sake of not having to leave your house to have the consultation, that should sell itself. But the low-cost treatments start just as low as $10 per month, and Keeps offers generic versions. Discreet packaging and proven results. Keeps has more 5-star reviews than any of its competitors. I want you to think about that. People love the product. Prevention is key. Treatment can take 4 to 6 months to see results, so act fast. All you have to do to take action to prevent hair loss is to go to Keeps.com. That's KEEPS.com/safety. to receive your first month of treatment for free. That's Keeps.com, KEEPS.com/safety to get your first month free. That's KEEPS.com/safety. Remember, not everybody has such a beautiful head as mine. So don't be saying coulda, shoulda, woulda. Act on Keeps right now. Okay, there you go. 42 minutes past the top of the hour. This one's by Alicia Sheldon. You know, not our Sheldon, but Alicia Sheldon. And this one's called Nights in Mexico. How fitting. Yeah, there you go. Some fun stuff going on always around here. Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun. So thanks to Alicia Sheldon allowing us to play Nights in Mexico. This one's readily available on Spotify and iTunes if you're so looking to do that. Anyways, if you want to, at the top of the hour, we're going to be going over to our other side of the equation here, where we're going to be hanging out on RadioBig.fm. That's RadioBig.fm. You can come hang out and do all the stuff that we do over there. No problem whatsoever if you want to come out and hang out and do all kinds of fun stuff. We'll take a listen to some things that are going on inside of the charts, new music, all that kind of stuff. So don't go too far away if you want to come and hang out. That's at RadioBig.fm. Some people get confused with the radio station aspect, but it is RadioBig.fm, not .com, .fm. Same way as this thing is, where you can listen to safety.fm, but you can also listen to safetyfm.com, but you have safety.fm, available on multiple apps and all that kind of fun stuff. Anyway, so let me stop plugging away and all that kind of fun stuff. I think that we need some motivation right away as we're talking. So let's get Johnny Smalls back in here one more time and let him give you the Motivation Minute.
Here's your Market Beat Minute for Wednesday.
Or maybe I can tell him to do the Motivation Minute.
The Motivation Minute is courtesy of BetterCreditCards.com. Today's quote has been submitted by David. John C. Maxwell said, "What you become is the result of what you do today." In other words, you are preparing for something. I love that. Thanks, David. John C. Maxwell has so many great quotes. I think we could do a whole week with just his quotes sometime. The genius of this quote, what you do today will make a difference tomorrow. It's up to us whether that's a good difference or a bad difference. If we make good choices today, we reap the benefits tomorrow. If we make bad choices today, we pay for it tomorrow. So get out there and make good choices. This has been today's Motivation Minute, courtesy of BetterCreditCards.com. I'm John Small. Thanks for listening. Your favorite motivational quotes can be submitted for upcoming programs at motivationminute.org.
So there you go, 45 minutes past the top of the hour. That was Johnny Smalls with his Motivation Minute. I always love what he has going on there. They're always really good. just in regards of going over those particular conversations. So let's start talking a little bit more about some other things that are going on inside of our world as you and I are hanging out on this lovely, lovely Wednesday. Netflix is being sued by a South Korean broadband company over the traffic surge caused by the hot show of the moment, Squid Game. Yes, Netflix has produced some monster shows over the years, including Stranger Things, Bridgerton, The Queen's Gambit, and Sex Education. But it may come up with the most popular show yet with Squid Game, a Korean dystopian survival series topping the streaming platform charts across the world, which brings us to South Korea. Internet services provider SK Broadband has filed a lawsuit against Netflix after experiencing drastic increase in traffic as a result of the show popularity. SK says that Netflix should reasonably assist financially with the increased network traffic and maintain maintenance work. Netflix says that it will review the claim. Maybe the two companies could split the cost. You could, kind of like squid pro quo. Get it? Squid pro quo. They say the way I see it is that the internet company survived the Kimmy K sex tape, so it will survive the Squid Game. It's just kind of the way that it goes. I mean, I don't get it. So, listen, I know broadband providers suck. They just do. Meaning they provide a service, but depending on how you're written out, if you have a contract or not, you might have to be like limited or capped in regards of how many gigs you can pull down and all that kind of fun stuff. Believe me, I get it. Our internet service provider here is fantastic for what they do and all we're able to do inside of the studio and all that kind of fun stuff. But I know that we went through so many different contracts taking a look around, and they all sucked for the most part until we got to them. So there you go. Anyways, let's continue talking. Unsurprisingly, married couples often share the same interests and even lifestyle habits. Now, a new study says that often share the same medical history, too. Researchers at the Tohoku University found that married couples display a high degree of similarities when it comes to their body shapes, blood pressure, and even diseases they develop, such as diabetes. The scientists discovered couples also had very similar blood pressure, cholesterol, and triglyceride levels. Well, the blood pressure, you can blame that on the kid, so always think about that. Motorists whose diets are loaded with sugar, and I did say motorists whose diets are loaded with sugar, processed meats, and junk food are more likely to be involved in a car accident, according to new research. Scientists say that snacking on burgers, sausage rolls, and biscuits and guzzling soft drinks is linked to riskier behavior behind the wheel. A new study of 800 Estonians adds to the evidence that what you eat can predict how safely you drive. This is not a joke. Those who drink energy drinks at least once a week were twice as likely to speed as those who don't. And while foods with high sugar and fat may briefly increase alertness, it is also believed that it can cause a reduction of concentration levels and mood, especially if you drop the powdered jelly donut while you're driving. I hate when that happens. It's just a terrible thing when you think about it overall.
More sarcasm than a Mortal Kombat beatdown. Rated R. Safety Show.
Okay, let's talk about some sea meat. It wasn't long ago that plant-based meat from companies like Beyond Meat and Impossible Foods was the in thing, but that's so 2020. Get ready for it, so wait. Plant-based seafood. Several companies are already selling alternative seafood, and sales in the sector are growing by 23% from 2019 to 2020. The U.S. National Defense Council says that plant-based seafood could help alleviate the demand of fresh-caught fish, curbing the overfishing that has caused a decrease in fish population and reduce the biodiversity in the ocean and harm habitat. But the plant-based seafood, what is it made of? Well, many of the list ingredients include seaweed, peas, and beans of some kind, including lentils, soybeans, fava beans, and navy beans. Plant-based fish alternatives comes in forms including fish sticks, fish fillets, fish burgers, crab cakes, fish cakes. Yeah, how does that taste? I don't think it's going to sound like it tastes like chicken when it's all said and done. And I just knew that stuff would be made from seaweed, because what else is this going to What else is it going to be made out of? And then there you go, an all-guy algae raid when it's all said and done. I mean, that is just some interesting stuff. When it's all said and done. So you want to hear something kind of interesting? Here you go. Let's talk about Did You Know? Ouch, Bing's top search word. Are you ready for this? So Bing's top search word, the search engine giant by Microsoft, their number one top search word is Google, according to Google. As Google's parent company, Alphabet made its case to appeal the $5 billion fine handed down by the European Union. A spokesperson for the company said that the astonishing claim, saying that we have submitted evidence showing that most common search query on Bing is by far is Google. Bing is a search engine owned by and operated by Microsoft. Think about that. Think about that for a moment. The most searched word on Bing is Microsoft. I just don't think that it gets much better than that when it's all said and done. I mean, think about it for a moment.
We are now video streaming the Rated R Safety Show. I don't know why our host has a face for radio. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, let's continue talking about some other stuff. A ticket sold in California was the winner of the nearly $700 million Powerball jackpot, ending the longest number of drawings in a row without a grand prize winner, according to Powerball. The jackpot is worth an estimated $699.8 million. The winner has the option of a $496 million cash payout. Tonight's drawing will be for $20 million for the jackpot, or a $14.2 million cash payout. So there you go. Some interesting stuff. Some interesting stuff for sure going on inside of there. Anyways, let's continue talking about some other things going on inside of this world, as we are 52 minutes past the top of the hour. So let's take a look back on what occurred back on this date. Back in 1996, Bob Dole and President Bill Clinton meet for their first debate. The debate took place in Hartford, Connecticut, and was moderated by Jim Lanier of PBS. Most voters considered Clinton the winner of the debate. He's gone to win the re-election in November. That was back in 1919. That was back in 1919. Yeah, that was back in 1996 on this date. So there you go. Anyways, let's talk about some birthdays for today. Trevor Lawrence turns 22. Scarlett Bine turns 31. Amy Jo Johnson, 51. Tom Jager, 57. Elizabeth Shue, 58. Really, 58? I would have never thought that. Kevin Cronin, 70. And Ellen Travolta turns 82 today. Ellen Travolta turns 82 today. So there you go. That's some birthdays going on inside of that neck of the woods. Let's talk about some things that you can celebrate today if you're just looking forward to doing that. It's National Coaches Day, National Orange Wine Day, National Plus Size Appreciation Day, National Mad Hatter Day, National German American Day, National Noodle Day, National Walk to School Day, National Pumpkin Seed Day, National Coffee with a Cup Day. With a cup. Listen to me. National Kale Day. Sorry about that. Physician Assistance Day, and Come and Take It Day. Come and Take It Day. I need a day to come and take it. So there you go. Those are some days that you can celebrate if you're interested in doing so. Some other things real quick before I forget. Let me tell you about my friends at the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. Whether you have struggled with suicide yourself or have lost a loved one, know that you are not alone. Hear about personal experiences from people in your local communities whose lives have been impacted by suicide and depression. To find out more information, you can always go to afsp.org. That's afsp.org, or you can call 1-800-273-8255. That's 1-800-273-8255, or text the word TALK to 741-741. Hey, listen, you never know when you might need some of this information, or you never know of someone else who could be actually looking for this kind of assistance. So like I said, take a look around, see if you can help out your local community. I always think it's important to be able to do so. Anyways, let's get back into some more news real quick before we get you the hell out of here. Talk about some other things. Let's talk about what is going on inside of the scoop. Facebook and Instagram suffered a worldwide outage on Monday, in case you didn't notice, forcing me to go old school by watching my favorite cat videos on YouTube. Scientists at MIT once built a robot cheetah that could run 60 miles per hour, and they have accomplished that. The scientists hope to complete even more difficult feat, like talking to an actual woman. Edmunds claims that the new Tesla Model S Plaid is the fastest accelerating road car they've ever tested, going from 0 to 60 in 2 seconds. So let's put some perspective on that. It takes that much time to time I put into jokes and add about a second. So there you go. I read the first thing that someone notices when they meet you is your smile, especially if you're at a funeral. Strange but true. Britain once hacked the Al Qaeda website and replacing bomb-making instructions with cupcake recipes. For humanity's sake, let's just hope that wasn't my wife that did it when it was all said and done.
Oops! What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with the viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Okay, these lists normally don't get me too far away, but let's talk about this. Let's talk about some truth or BS real quick. Prince Harry is taller than Prince William. Is that truth or BS? Well, let's say it's BS. William is 6'3" and Harry is 6'1". There are 2 parts of the body that can't heal themselves. Is that true or BS? BS. There's only one, and that's your teeth. Let's see. A is the most commonly used letter in the English language. Is that true or BS? It's actually the letter E is the most common letter, apparently in 11% of all English words. Madonna's real name is Madonna. Is that true or BS? It's actually true. It's Madonna Louise Sicone in full. So there you go. That's her real name. So it is true. There are 5 different blood groups. Is that true or BS? It's actually BS. There's 4. It's AB, and O. So there you go. Monaco is the smallest country in the world. Is that truth or BS? It's actually Vatican City at just 0.4. It's actually at just 0.17 square miles. So there you go. Coffee is made from berries. Is that true or BS? It's actually true. When ripe coffee berries turn into green or red and are picked and processed and dried before they're roasted and turned into coffee. So there you go. Cardi B's real name is Cardigan Baccaden. Is that true or BS? That is actually BS. So there you go. Now you know some truth or BS questions you can use later for today. Anyways, if you need a random joke for today, try this. Please congratulate me on my new position. It is fetal position, and I'll be in it for a while. If you need a phone starter, try this one. Given a choice, who would you like to live like for a day? Who would you like to live like for a day? If you need something for the water cooler, try this one. 31% of the U.S. have used this as an excuse to avoid working out. What is it? I have no clean workout clothes. I mean, come on, that one's pretty simple. Anyways, you've been listening to the Rated R Safety Show exclusively on RadioBig.fm and SafetyFM.com. We can't do what we do without you. The most important part, the listener. Remember, Safety FM is the home of real safety talk. Here in the next minute or so, I will be going over exclusively to RadioBig.fm if you want to come out and hang out with me. If I can leave you with a thought for today, I would love to leave you with this. Working hard for something you don't care about is called stress. Working hard for something that you love is called passion. And sometimes that passion can be unholy. Anyways, that's all I got. Hopefully I'll be back tomorrow. Come out to the Radio Big side of the house, and we'll hang out together. I know who you are. You know who I am. Love ya, mean it, and goodbye.